Since joining OddsJam, I've made over $100,000 in sports betting profits while living in a state with limited access to sportsbooks. Most of it was through a strategy called arbitrage betting, which is still my main strategy for making sports betting profits in 2026. Although classified as sports betting, in reality, arbitrage is an investment strategy that guarantees a risk-free profit when done correctly. In this video, I'm going to show you the basics of arbitrage betting with OddsJam so that you can get started stacking risk-free profits like myself and plenty of other OddsJam users. But first, what is arbitrage? Arbitrage is a trading strategy where you buy and sell the same asset in different markets to capitalize from price discrepancies, locking in a risk-free profit when the spread guarantees a positive return. Say a share of Apple is trading at $100 on Robinhood and $101 on Webull. You would simultaneously buy a share for $100 on Robinhood and sell it for $101 on Webull to lock in a guaranteed $1 profit on that spread. While the stock market is extremely efficient in pricing, the same concept can be applied back to the sports betting markets, which are one of the most inefficient markets in the world. Now that we know what arbitrage betting is and why it works, I'll go over the basics of using OddsJam to implement this strategy. So I've switched over to the OddsJam desktop app, but this works perfectly fine with mobile as well. And I'll just go over the basics of using OddsJam, like if you're a complete beginner, some useful tips to help you get started. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is come to the top right corner and select what state you're in. This way, OddsJam can show you exactly what sportsbooks are available in your state and kind of get you started that way. Right now I'm in California, but I travel a lot to other states to sports bet, so I end up using this feature a lot more often than you would think. But right now I'll select it to Cali, and then once you select your state, you're gonna wanna come to the filters right here at the top right corner as well, and then set up your filters so that OddsJam can scrape plays that exactly fit your criteria. I'll show you my basic setup so you could get started yourself. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is come to the sportsbook filter and just choose every single sportsbook that you have available and have funds in and can get plays down on. Right now, I have a bunch of prediction markets and offshore selected, but depending on your state, you're gonna wanna add exchanges and domestic books like FanDuel and DraftKings and things like that. But the next filter I use is the percentage filter. So right now I have it set to 0.5%. So OddsJam will show me all arbitrage plays that have a 0.5% ROI or better. If you're just starting out though, I would probably set this to 2% or 1.5%. just to not have so many lines show up on your screen, reduce the clutter, and really only show you plays where you're maximizing your bankroll, because you don't really want to take a lot of lower percentage plays and tie up your bankroll when later on in the day you could get higher percentage stuff and potentially make more return on your investment that way. But the last filter I really touch is the date range. So I usually have it set to show me plays happening in the next 24 hours. Sometimes I'll set this to today, but right now I have it set to 24 hours. I don't really use the next 7 days filter here because I don't want to tie up my bankroll on a play that's happening in a couple days. I'd rather have my bankroll keep cycling with plays that are happening, the same day or the next day. So I'd recommend to set it at next 24 hours. Besides that, I don't really touch too much of the other filters. You can come to the league and market filters and kind of adjust this to see like only main markets or only player props if you want to get more specific, or even go to the league and only show basketball plays or football plays or whatever it is. But I usually just leave those alone. And then once you have a filter setup that you like, you can come to the bottom right and save that filter. And then you can even set up push notifications so that you get a phone alert anytime a play pops up that meets your criteria. Instead of just having to sit at the screen all day, you could have it come to your phone and react that way. But I'll just save this as a test. And then OddsJam should start scraping plays that meet your criteria. So right now we're looking at the pregame screen, which will only show arbitrage plays that are happening before a game starts. But with OddsJam Platinum Plan, you could also get live arbitrage, which you can toggle at the top left corner over here between pre-match and live. The only real difference here with the filters is that there's a filter called in-game status where you can turn off live plays and only show plays in stoppage, which is pretty useful if you're just starting out. So what stoppage is it'll only show arbitrage plays live that are happening when a game is in a stoppage mode, such as like a timeout, dead ball, end of quarter, end of half, something like that. And usually with those stoppage plays, you'll have more time to get both sides of the arbitrage bet down, so you don't get one-sided and stuck on a play. But besides that, we have the auto refresh feature at the top right corner as well with OddsJam Platinum. And I almost always have this turned on so that the page auto refreshes by itself. If you don't have this turned on, then you would have to refresh plays using this refresh button right here. But if you have auto refresh on, OddsJam will just keep cycling plays and you don't have to keep refreshing to see new stuff. So I'll just find a quick example of an arbitrage bet that I might take. And I'll just pause the arb tool for now so the screen is not refreshing like crazy. But if I come over here, maybe we'll look at this second line for Syracuse versus Notre Dame money line. You can get Syracuse money line at plus 380 odds on DraftKings, while you can get Notre Dame money line for minus 341 odds on Kalshi, which is a prediction market. And OddsJam makes the process super easy. So if you are trying to get these bets down quickly, so OddsJam will give you the recommended bet size over here on the right corner. So if you bet $100 on Notre Dame on Kalshi at minus 341 odds, and then $27 on Syracuse money line at plus 380 odds on DraftKings, you'd be guaranteeing a risk-free profit no matter what of $2.60 or $2.33, depending on who wins between Notre Dame and Syracuse. And OddsJam also makes it easy by having one-click bet, where if I just click on this link, it'll automatically take me to DraftKings, and same thing here with Kalshi. It'll automatically take me to Kalshi's website so I could place this bet down really quickly. And if you're not able to get down 100, or 100 isn't like your recommended bet size, and you want to get a little bit more specific with the amount, you could go to the left side on the screen and there's a little calculator icon. I'll just click that. And then here you could actually get a little bit more specific with bet sizes. So say I'm only able to get down $50 on Kalshi or something. We could do $50 here on the calculator, and then OddsJam will tell me the recommended bet size to put down on the other side on DraftKings. So in this case, to have the payouts match exactly, to have an exact $1.19 payout on either side, you'd put $13.47 down on the DraftKings side. Then once you place those bets, you can add it to the bet tracker, and then OddsJam will automatically track it for you. Process is super easy. And a $1.19 profit, might not sound like a lot, but stack these up over the course of 10, 100, or even 1,000 bets, and it turns into some serious profits. During primetime season, like right now with basketball on and hockey, I'm placing over 100 to 200 of these arbitrage bets per day. So that's kind of compounded into a couple $1,000s a month in profits, which, some serious money by just placing 2 bets on either side and turning it into some risk-free profit. And this is all just the basics of arbitrage betting. But if you want to learn more about arbitrage and other mathematically profitable sports betting strategies, I post a ton of free content on my X and YouTube pages to show how I make a full-time living using OddsJam to sports bet. And that's the basics of arbitrage betting with OddsJam. If you want to try OddsJam free for 7 days, use my code WestCoastArbs plus get 35% off your first month. If you found this video useful, leave me a like and a comment and stay tuned for the next one.